I just wanted to have a bit of a chat with you, Nams, all about what is happening at the moment with the new iOS updates and the so-called war between Apple and Facebook. I am here today with our advertising guru, Nams, and I just wanted to have a bit of a chat with you, Nams, all about what is happening at the moment with the new iOS updates and the so-called war between Apple and Facebook. Nothing to do with Google.
So should I just start from the beginning?
Yeah, so what's actually happening? I mean, we're seeing a lot in the media about it. Break it down for me.
Absolutely. So basically last year, Apple announced the iOS 14 release. And because of that, there were quite a few changes that impacts digital marketing. Mainly the way that Apple has announced it kind of took Facebook in the back foot. But essentially the small businesses will be impacted in four key ways. The first way is when a user or a person is going from your ad to an external site, the conversion to that external site will now be very incomprehensible. As in, it is going to be very difficult for us to track that conversion. But Facebook, on the other hand, has also released quite a few features and is continuing to release quite a few features to combat that as well. So that's the first key impact. The second impact by itself is basically the limitation on the audience pool collection. The biggest change on iOS 14 was made on user privacy. So that means that we cannot track as accurately as we would track in the prior iOSs on exactly how the user is interacting with ads, with websites, with other channels and platforms. So Apple has basically put a limitation to that, which means on Facebook, the audience collection by itself will be nominal, as in it will be limited by number, and we won't have as many audiences being collected in the pool. And so those two key things will impact our cost per conversion. So basically it comes down to conversion tracking, where we know that on Facebook, we are utilizing Pixel, we are utilizing codes to track conversions from a site. But this conversion by itself will now be limited. Is the iOS 14 will impact the delay in number of conversions coming into the site itself. So we might see a little bit of delay in conversion reporting and conversion tracking in that aspect as well. Now that might impact the client's ROI. It might also impact the potential Facebook's algorithm, the algorithm that we both kind of like just loved and honed at for like the last 2-3 years. But now that's going to change as well, because essentially it is going to have a massive impact on the limitation of audience collection and exactly how many audiences we can have in that pool. But in saying all these limiting factors, there is also a massive caveat where Facebook is now saying that they will start enhancing their reporting tools, which will in effect combat this iOS 14 release. And they will also start kind of counteracting the iOS 14 release by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that release has still not happened. In terms of the AdSense, we are expecting it to happen in the next week or so, but it might have some immediate impacts on the clients.
Mm-hmm.
But in the future, Facebook is working towards a more comprehensible reporting and attribution model.
So my understanding is the way this is going to impact our clients this month is essentially we might see a situation where the recorded conversions that we've got as part of our reporting appear to be a lot lower. That's not necessarily going to mean that in reality they were lower and sales have dropped, but just that there's this bit of a switchover period happening at the moment with that reporting. Now, I do want to say that Facebook is, honestly, they have a monopoly. The amount of engineers they've got working in the back end of Facebook is huge, like 10,000 plus.
Absolutely.
This is a situation where I think good is going to come out of it in that they're going to become a lot more clever in the ways that they can track conversions and get us data, right? This is not
Absolutely.
It's not a bad thing. It's just going to mean the numbers on our end for the next month or so are going to look worse than what they might have potentially done the month before. So I think for me, I just want to reassure our clients that we're adapting to these changes. We're going to be taking use of all these new features that Facebook is going to introduce, but our numbers may be a little lower for the next month or so.
Absolutely correct, Sonia. And that's where I think Facebook is now just utilizing their resources day by day, where now they are actually just interacting and making a much more better future for reporting and attribution and ads and how they work. What we are also predicting is that the quality of lead, because of these factors, might also increase. So we might say that an audience might actually be adept to interacting with ads more, instead of in the past where the quality of lead was not as much, but the quantity was always at the top end. So that might also see a massive impact over the next 2 months or so.
Yeah, awesome. All right. So bit of uncertain times at the moment, but we do think positives are going to come out of it, and we're totally across it and going to pivot as we need to.
Absolutely correct.
All right. Thanks for your time, Nams.
No worries, Sonia. Cheers.